of us take as a final sign of returning to normal, or better to say new normal, after several months of intense fight against COVID-19, which is now being transferred more on the front of economic recovery. Particularly when we have in mind some of the key goals which were set to be implemented in 2020, with the realization of a moderately prosperous society, with the alleviation of extreme poverty. I am quite certain that several of these goals will be realized in this year. Of course, we are looking forward to His Excellency's State Councillors and Foreign Ministers Wang Yi's press conference to set out the foreign policy targets for the year to come, having in mind ever more challenging global context that we can see these days. 2020 is quite a seminal year in EU-China and Croatia-China relations, as we are celebrating 45th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations between then European Economic Community, today's European Union, and China. And this year was supposed to be celebrated by several high-level events, which are still there to take place, maybe in different formats. But what's the most important component of both these events is the preparation of their deliverables. At the moment, let me highlight several of them. Of course, there's great room for cooperation between European Union and China in implementation of sustainable development goals, in providing international development assistance, in addressing some of the key spots around the world where we see some long-standing crises, in green action, or better to say green recovery after this economic crisis, bringing our joint efforts in fighting the climate change, and last but not the least, in concluding the negotiations on the comprehensive investment agreement between European Union and China, where with breakthrough to come in these negotiations, this goal can be realized and thus foster greater economic exchange and investment coming from both sides. When we mention Croatia-EU-China relations in this year, we are celebrating 15th anniversary of our partnership in general cooperation, and I really do hope in the second part of the year that we'll be able to focus on some of the projects that we had in mind for the whole of the year, fostering greater economic cooperation between Croatia and China, having more high-quality Croatian products on the Chinese market, continuing our efforts in greater people-to-people exchange. Last year we could conclude with 500,000 Chinese tourists. We were on good track to raise that number even more, and on that note, introduction of a direct flight between two countries would certainly contribute to that, so we'll continue to work on all these goals.